So I wanted to get the best expert, as I always do, for you guys, to talk about President Biden's foreign policy outlook. And the best guy in the country, in my opinion, humble opinion, is a former senator from Connecticut, Joseph Lieberman. He's not an ideologue, got tons of experience in the Middle East. He knows China very well. Senator, thanks for helping us out here. What I want to know first is, overall, Israel-Hamas, is the Biden administration handling it well? What grade would you give them?
Yeah, hey, Bill, great to be with you, and thanks for your kind words in introduction. So I guess I'd give them a B plus. These are two real challenges to our security, American to world security, and to our values. The Hamas attack on the Israelis, which is really Iran that hates us and hates Israel and really hates the Arab countries as well. And of course, Putin's invasion of Ukraine. So I would say President Biden's administration have taken a strong position supporting both the Ukrainians and the Israelis. Why is it B plus? I think with the Ukrainians, we could have given them some better military systems sooner. With the current situation in the Middle East, of course, nobody likes to see innocent civilians in Gaza being hurt or killed as a result of the Israeli effort to destroy Hamas. But that's Hamas's fault. And I just don't think we should pressure our allies in Israel to cease fire or stop the fight. So maybe there could be a little less of that from the administration. But overall, the president's restated American leadership in the world. And that's important. And not everybody on Capitol Hill agrees with that. So it's doubly important.
Okay. Were you surprised at all of the demonstrations, particularly at the universities, against the state of Israel? Did that surprise you?
Yeah, it's not just the demonstrations, because maybe you could figure that because there's such a leftist influence on college campuses, but the size and the intensity of it and the terrible hatred, not just sort of anti-Israel, but in some cases pretty clearly anti-Semitic, and to a certain extent anti-American. It makes me think that some radical left-wing groups infiltrated those pro-Palestinian demonstrations, were tearing down American flags, and burning and whacking not only Netanyahu but Biden as if they were piñatas. That's awful stuff, and it doesn't speak for the American people. But it sends out a terrible message from American college campuses.
Yeah, and you got Harvard, MIT, and the top schools in the country basically justifying it by not taking any action against the anti-Semites and the destructive people. They basically let it go. And did that surprise you?
Well, it did, but frankly, not as much, because I've watched that happen on college campuses. Too many of the administrators try to please everybody. And, a university is supposed to be a place of truth where you teach truth and learn truth. And in these cases, you just can't please everybody. Some people are just plain wrong. And a president of a university should say that. If demonstrators are anti-Semitic, the president shouldn't feel like, they're going to make a wishy-washy statement. Everybody has a point here. No, not everybody does have a point.
That's true.
And I wish that.
It's your crew, not you, but you ended your political career as an independent, but the Democratic Party, right. My God. Now, I set this segment up by saying that the Xi-Biden meeting is important for everybody in the world. You want to drop tensions with China if you can. But I don't believe Joe Biden is in charge of this. I see it's Jake Sullivan and it's the Secretary of State Blinken. They'll be sitting next to Biden. They're pretty much calling the shots. You know the inside. Am I wrong?
Well, I mean, Biden is the president, so it's up to him to assert the authority of the commander-in-chief. But there's no question that Jake Sullivan and Blinken are important to him. Look, I think the important thing in these meetings tomorrow between Biden and Xi is that we're coming in a position of strength. And I hope President Biden understands that and reflects that at the table. which is to say our economy is in so much better shape than the Chinese economy. They're hurting of their own economic maladministration, but we're also hurting them with our sanctions, and they're going to need some help. And it's an opportunity not to rub Xi's face in it, but to reach some agreements. You know, there are competitors, there are challengers. They have a whole way of life and way of government that's totally different from ours. But the key here is we don't want to get in a war with them. We don't even want to get in a Cold War with them. And it would be great if we can come out with some agreements from this meeting in San Francisco. Maybe the beginning of looking at some of the tariffs to see which ones hurt both countries and they take them off. But I'd like to see the Chinese admit that they have a role to play in cutting down the movement of fentanyl into our country.
Yeah, that's big.
Which they do. And look, long term, this takes me back to 1972, Nixon, Kissinger, when one of their main motivations for opening up relations with China was to separate China from Russia. And here again today, China gives a lot more heft to Russia, Iran, and North Korea than those devils deserve. And we got to convince them that it'd be a lot better for them.
Back off from that, right. It's amazing how history does repeat itself. Everything is expensive these days, you know that. The government is printing trillions of dollars and consumer prices higher than ever. If the government continues its printing and spending, the dollar could continue its free fall and lose its coveted role as the world reserve currency. Let's hope that doesn't happen. But there are a few things you can do right now. American Hartford Gold can show you how to protect your money, your retirement, your hard-earned savings against inflation by helping you diversify a portion of your portfolio into physical gold and silver. Start with a short phone call, and they can have physical gold and silver delivered right to your door or put inside your 401k or IRA. So please call or text them right now. Tell them Bill O'Reilly sent you. Call 877-444-GOLD, 877-444-GOLD, or text GOLD to 65532. Again, that's 877-444-GOLD, or text GOLD to 65532. Thank you for watching the No Spin News. To watch the full episode anytime on BillO'Reilly.com, please sign up to become a premium or concierge member. Visit BillO'Reilly.com to sign up and start watching today.